Preparing, setting up. All right, gentlemen. Looks good to me.
Ron?
We're on YouTube and we are about to be on Facebook as well. All right, got the link shared up. We're good to go. How's everybody doing?
Are we on?
We're on.
We are on. Hey, everybody. How you doing? What's up, guys?
Feeling good. Painful, but good.
Cliff, I don't have audio on you, brother.
Hello.
Hey,
Can you hear
there
me?
you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I said happy hump day. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So this is what our first time live on YouTube, right? Up to now, it's always been Facebook, right?
Right.
So I hope this thing goes smooth. So we're off and running. So today, we decided just to go it alone for this first time on YouTube. So we'll go back to regular guests next week, or after that. But I think we had a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff's gone on this week, and I'm anxious to share what's going on. So outside of that, anything you guys got to talk about, or you want to hit before I get into this?
I mean, it's been a lot. I mean, everything that we've been doing has been pretty cool, and I'm kind of excited to share some of the and stuff like that that's been happening. Seems like it's just been nonstop action for me, at least. Between everything from the school and family and everything else. But I think our regularity, and I think us kind of having a concrete meeting and stuff like that every week has helped me personally. You know what I mean, and everything that we've been doing, which has been cool. I look forward to that Tuesday.
Yeah, that's cool.
Tuesday meetings.
Tuesday meetings. Yeah, it's always Tuesday meetings. So business first. All right, let's hit this out. For everybody who's part of the online training, we've got all the intermediate material ready. It's all going up. So the beginning, the intermediate, and then we're going into the advanced material. We're going to show some clips throughout the hour, but we spent a lot of time refilming stuff and just making sure that everything. Sorry about that. My computer just yelled at me about something. But anyway, we're getting that all up and running for you. I think it's pretty tight. I'm pretty happy with a lot of the filming. You got to think about this. I've had the online training a long time. So it's not that it's outdated material. It's just we evolve. I look at things with new eyes a little bit. I don't look at it the same as I did when I first filmed it, years ago. No matter, I mean, some of those films were like a long time ago. I was at your school, Cliff, for some of the stuff that was on there. And, just like everything else, you evolve. There's new stuff out there. There's just research, and you're learning how to do things a bit better. So we're just trying to really update it and really get it tight and current. So these guys have been on me, forcing me to do all the stuff that they need. And I know it's like pulling teeth with me sometimes, but because of COVID, things are tight. Getting able-bodied people to where I'm sure we're safe has been a factor in it, but we're there. So I'm really happy with the progress. You guys want to add anything in that?
Yeah, let me just bring up the speed, because we got probably a lot of new people who haven't watched this, because this is our first time on YouTube, and we have a lot of followers on there. So we've been kind of taking what's been on Mars Online, repackaging it a little bit, figuring a better layout, how we can get the material out, to subscribers. And then we developed a couple packages. We have one now called the JKD Kali package, and this one really hits on all the jeetkunedo that Ron has been teaching over the years, and then the new material, as well as the Filipino arts, the Kali. Okay, so we basically a year subscription is $2.99, but we're doing a special right now from today until the 6th, right, Larry? That we're taking $100 off, and there's a coupon code, and then Larry's going to post that underneath this YouTube as a comment, so you can get access to that. But the idea is we're going to expand and grow as we develop. I mean, our first phase was just, taking what's there, figuring out what was missing. And then, I hit Ron about, hey, how about also, and Larry and I discussed that maybe we have a couple, live classes, which he teaches bi-monthly. So twice a month, he's teaching one Kali class webinar, and he's doing a jeetkunedo webinar. So, I mean, this is an extreme value to be able to be participant in that as a actually yearly subscriber. Because if you purchase these, we're selling these independently for $49. So if you do the math, you bought 2 a month at $99. I mean, you're paying about $1,100 something a year, and you're getting for $2.99 a yearly subscription. And with this special code that we're giving you for the Labor Day sale is a steal. So I just wanted to catch some of the YouTube viewers up to that right now, what's going on, because that's something we our first phase of working on. Larry, you want to add something to that?
No, I mean, that's kind of one of my favorite things. I'm trying to get the link to post in here for everybody on the comments too. Yeah, I mean, I think it's phenomenal what we've done so far. I'm really excited about this next little explosion in that, which is going to be kind of cool. And personally, I brag about it all the time. I mean, I really, really like the live classes. I mean, I'm bugging him to get private lessons with him, to get not just past material, but just to stay up to date with what's going on in his mind, so that I can keep sharing it to the rest of my students as well. So, I mean, if you do it for the online curriculum, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but hey, okay, cool. We'll just push the material over here to the side, right? I think that everybody should do it just for the 2 live classes. And something that I hear often online, and then also just talking to people is, yeah, but it's not a convenient time for me to make those classes. Not a problem, right? Because what do? We record them, right? And then we post them. So that way everybody still has a chance to look at those classes, review those classes, right? So if you can't make the live class, it's okay, but you still have that live activity. Like the cutting edge is what I call it, basically what's going on, what he's creating, what's happening. I mean, like for me, I'm constantly creating when I get in front of somebody and I get to teach. And the more I teach, this wheel just keeps spinning. And I see that with Guru Ron. I mean, it's just constant, every time I go with him, there's something new, right? He's always giving me something new to it, or a new spin or a new take on it. So again, if you don't do it for the reference material, which is phenomenal in there, do it for the live classes. It's 100% worth it.
Everything that we're giving away now is if they just subscribe, which doesn't cost them a dime, they're getting my book for free, correct?
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to do it. They talked me into it. That's Cliff at work. So then we have the book. We have the 2 live classes. We have a whole online curriculum, and the written curriculum is up there too for as they're progressing through. So you'll be able to see everything you need to get through it. Now, there are the 2 live classes. If I can't ever be present, which I've been there for all of them but one, Larry filled in for me for one, but life happens. So things are going to come up, but we'll always have an instructor there for you. And it'll always be somebody who's, I don't want to say certified, but a talent, somebody who has the curriculum or has material that they're going over. So yeah, I wish I had this coming up. I wish somebody like Guru Dan had this coming up. I would have done it in a second. Not to say I'm him, but if I had access to that material, God, I would have loved it. It would have made my life easier. So with that said, we're going to be offering all sorts of other things. We'll talk about that later as we go through with this. But right now, all the Kali curriculum is getting up there. We have the JKD curriculum getting up there. We're going to be updating a lot of the JKD because I've been asked about that a lot. People are like, well, is it the same material that was there before? It is, but we're going to be updating, and I'll add new content. Obviously, everything that I've filmed isn't everything that I have. It's just what I wanted you to get through to get to be an instructor in it. But eventually, CLOT, shoot, Thai boxing, SWAT, everything is going up on there. And I'm looking forward to that. I was going to talk a little more about that a little later, about like CLOT stuff, because that's the next big thing I think I want to jump on. So I know I'm kind of surprising you guys with it, but I mean, we loosely talked about it, but I'd like to get that material up and running. So that's going to be next for me. A lot of people are starting to ask me for it. Things go in waves. I remember it was like JKD was the big thing, and then Kali, then MMA came in and nobody wanted to do anything but that, and they were kind of poo-pooing CLOT. A lot of people were. And I think that it's a misunderstood art. I think that, it's up to the person what you pressure test and what you get out of it, but I think that it's got its place, and I do love it. And more people are starting to ask me for that again. I don't know where you guys are at your schools, but do you have a curriculum going?
I don't have a just plain CLOT going anymore, but we blend it constantly with our MMA program. It's like if we're not doing shoot or BJJ, I'm always turning them over to Silat or even Filipino boxing, just because it gives that extra little spice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so
Can you hear me? Okay. So, yeah. And I think, I know there's a big craze for MMA and learning jujitsu, but the reason what I really like Silat, to me, it's a lot more street orientated. I mean, there's no rules to it. So I always tell people, I said, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're really into the sport aspect, I think jujitsu is really good for you. I mean, obviously you can use it for self-defense also, but Silat to me is just really specifically designed combatively. And so it works very well for people who don't really want to get into jujitsu, and really spend all that extra time that they would have to perfect it. I like to think of Silat as almost kind of, you can be sloppy and make it work. You know what I mean? You don't have to have all that elaborate training that you would do with studying jujitsu.
yeah, I love jiu-jitsu. I'm not putting it down at all, but Silat is got a lot. I remember when Pa Herman was alive. For those who don't know, Herman Sawanda was the head of Mande Muda Silat. I should talk about that for a second. It's a really funny story. I went to Indonesia to train with him, and I was there for with one of my training partners, Mike Nikadas, and we were out there for a month or so. And an Indonesian man sees me walking down the street, and he's like, why are you here? Because I was the only Anglo. And I go, oh, I'm studying martial art out here. He goes, what's the first thing you think he said? Taekwondo? I go, no. I go, Silat. But you got to understand, out there, Silat is almost like a backyard thing. They almost looked at it like it's either a family thing, or I hate to say it, like a gangish kind of thing. But the big schools out there are Taekwondo. And I was in Bandung, which is outside of Jakarta. And he's like, Silat, what's the name of the system? I go, Mande Muda. He goes, the new toilet? I go, what? And I left him and I went back to Herman, Pa Herman. I said, Pa, he said the new toilet. And he just started laughing. So you got to understand, in the old days when they would go to the restroom, it was in the river, and that's Mande. And so to like if you want to go to the bathroom out there and you ask where the toilet is, you ask Mande, where's the Mande? And Muda is new. So the guy, Mande Muda is the new river, like Chimande is the old river. So Mande Muda is the new river. So when I went up to the guy, he had no idea. So when I said, oh, Mande Muda, he goes, the new toilet. And Herman just thought it was the funniest thing in the world, just started laughing at it. But I wrestled him. I was fighting back then. I was going to Tokyo and fighting when I was with him. And I got to admit, I got a little bit of a cold. I don't know if you guys caught it. And it's not COVID. I went and got tested. I got tested yesterday, got my results. I'm good, but just a little sniffle. Yeah, you got it. But when I was with Pa Herman, he would wrestle me. He'd go, let me see what you're doing. And we get on the ground. And if he could counter me, A lot of times it wasn't appropriate counters. You get called in an MMA match because it's just illegal stuff. And that says a lot to what you're saying, Cliff. It's a street art. But it was cool. If I caught him. He'd be, oh, yeah, he got me. And then he would go and he would get away from me. And there was a couple things that I really picked up from him. And I didn't wrestle him every day. It was only a couple times. But I went, wow, that's workable. And I could work that. And I'm not going to get called on it in the ring. So I thought that was just kind of cool. And it taught me, it told me a lot and taught me a lot that all the negative stuff that a lot of people were saying because of the jiu-jitsu craze, oh, you're not going to get that in a real fight. Like, the leg sweeps, they would just step out. And he was like, Ron, you don't understand. This is a kick whistling. And we're just placing it here because it's designed to really tweak you. And you're not going to train me long if I keep doing this to you full blast. So we would do it. And there were times that he would do it like with a little bit of aggression and make me feel that. And I appreciated it, but it's just, it's nice to know, like in stick fighting, should we always stick fight with a real stick? No, but a lot of times we spar, it's with a soft stick. You get away with stuff, you get a little braver, but you still, if you've done real stick and you go to soft stick, you have an appreciation for, ooh, if that was a real stick, I would have really been hurt. And that's the way I look at Silat, is if he had done it to me with a little bit of malice, I think I'd be damaged. But a lot of times he didn't. I really liked it because he seemed to pressure test stuff more. And not to say my other instructors didn't have it, but with Pa Herman, he was a little more aggressive with me. And I really liked it because it really made me go, this is workable. It's worth the training. So
So
anyway,
what I think too,
I
Ron,
was,
I love jujitsu and I love rolling around. But as I get older, my back, everything was hurting, And the fact that I can still do C-lot, most of the techniques, and like I said, I just don't let my students throw me; I throw them, But the thing is, it's like I said, there's crazy throws and takedowns. Like if you're not even careful, I mean, I know people that got wrenched, really bad. Or like doing the octopus series, and doing that, and you come down and you can just wrench a person's neck. I remember Don Guerin telling me that he was out because somebody came down and kind of tweaked him, on the throw when you do octopus series. But that's again a way, to me, it's like I would, if I had to pick one or the other, because I like teach combative arts. I mean, I like the C-lot because it's a little bit more easier for my students to learn. They don't have to perfect. I mean, it takes a lot of years of study, I think, to get really good at, being able to do all your submissions in jujitsu, where it seems like to me that a lot of the C-lot submissions, and I always tell my students like this, in jujitsu, it's tap, tap. In C-lot, we say snap, snap, because there is no submission, right? They come there and they go, and there's no arm, we're going to just rip it off. So it's just a little different mindset and the approach, of how you use the arts, comparatively.
yeah, no. Speaking of the octopus series, I fought in a smoker match, and I pulled it off. And you could, people will say, oh well, they have stuff like that in MMA. Sure they do. Oh man, I'm gonna try to find a picture by the time we're done. I'll show you something out of the Kali stuff with my student. I might have told you guys. I tell this story to all my students with Matt Teasdale out of England, and one of his students fought, and he got this cool looking lock, and they're like, oh, this is this, and the announcer's like, this is this new MMA or jiu-jitsu thing, and he runs up, he goes, it's not jiu-jitsu, it's Kali. He started yelling it, and they're like, okay, but I think I have the video readily handy. I'm going to see if I can grab it, but I know I've had the picture. I've saved that picture from the fight, but it's, when you see it here, God bless it, hold on. I'm going to keep talking, but you know what? Let me search it up. I don't want to waste time with me digging and looking, but there is workable material. And it goes to, like, Cliff, what was the first time you've seen an armbar? Larry, either you, first time you've seen it. Was it jiu-jitsu? Was it BJJ? Was it judo? What was it?
Yeah, I think the very first time I kind of saw him was back in the 90s in the MMA fights, when they used to do the no holds barred kind of contests.
Okay, I mean, first time I seen it was in I believe judo. I seen an armbar. All right, so and I'm not putting down any one art. You a lot of people will go right to BJJ or whatever, but no. My point is, how many times have you been taught it, and how many systems now that you've trained it?
Yeah, many systems. I mean,
because I've seen it in JKD, I've seen it in Kali, I've seen it in shoot wrestling, I've seen it in judo, I've seen it in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I've seen it in regular Japanese jiu-jitsu, I've seen it in C-lot. Herman showed me it. So when you do an armbar, are you doing a jiu-jitsu one? Are you doing a Brazilian jiu-jitsu one? Are you doing a judo one? You don't know, because like, everybody's got a thing, like, all right, Brazilians like, get that thumb up. Other people are like, get your hip into it. Other people are, like, turn it this way. You got to be at a 45-degree angle, your body this way. So I've got all these different influences in me that make up that technique. So who's to say that a C-lot man doesn't have a valid technique? I think about the Gracies when they first came to America, and Carlos Gracie Sr. or whatever was there, and he brought it in. He was training Japanese jiu-jitsu. So isn't it still Japanese? There's that whole argument there. But he changed it. He did. He played with it more, and that made it his own. But because I do capoeira, is it no longer Brazilian capoeira? Now it's American capoeira. And that's kind of my argument to it. And not to even put that stuff down, I think where I'm going, I'm sick, guys. Sorry. Glad I'm not with you. Oh, I didn't want to do this. Sorry about that. Where I'm going with it is, everybody's got an influence. You can't tell where it all derives from. To me, it's more the man. So, especially in America or the world, we have a thing called, what are we on now? YouTube. And you could type in armbar, and you can get, even from like, I'll pick on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu again. I probably can go to 20 different places where they're teaching arm bars, and they'll stress different points. So when they stress different points, it just means they're putting their own perspective in it to something they were introduced to, or that they're a witness of. Because all three of us have a JKD background, and we all come from that same instructor, daninosanto, right? I mean, we have other influences, but when we all teach, I bet you we all teach it a bit different. And it's not to say that you guys are wrong, which you are. I'm right. I'm joking. No, it's not to say that you're wrong. It's just, it means that you have different influences. And quite honestly, CLOT is one of my influences in my JKD, and I can't help it. It's part of me, and the whole philosophy of JKD is that menu. When we all go to the restaurant, we all see that same menu, and odds are we're all going to pick something a little different, because what's JKD for you is not JKD for me. And that's all I want to do, is have the CLOT up to give people a different perspective. So.
Yeah. And then not only that, I mean, an arm bar, but again, it's like every system, how do you get into that arm bar, right? I mean,
Right.
Wing Chun may come in and get into it and get in the arm bar. It could look like the same arm bar, but how did they get into it? What was the setup, versus saying someone who's doing MMA versus maybe straight jujitsu, where they just come in basically, they protect themselves. They come in and maybe they do a body fold takedown or something, whatever they do, it's different. It's all the different setups. And I think, by adding now, you take the elements, what's already on there with the Kali and the JKD, and now you bring in the CLOT and later on the shoot, it really gives a person training something that Bruce Lee was really saying. I mean, absorb what is useful, but it really is about you. I mean, what's going to work for you? And especially as you go through life and you age, what you might have done in your 20s and 30s, you're not going to do anymore in your 60s and 70s, right? I mean, it's adapting, and it gives you more a technique and structure to adapt as you get older and you age, right?
Yeah. There's a Joe Rogan podcast that just came out. I don't know if I sent it to you guys, with Hicks and Gracie. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it.
I encourage you to go dig it up, or maybe we can find it before the end of this. But Hickson was awesome, because he's being interviewed, and they're talking about innovations and stuff, and he goes, "Well, I'll tell you, leg locks." He goes, I trained with Eric Paulson. For those who don't know Eric Paulson, he was my training partner and my fight partner. We would go to Tokyo and fight. He goes, Eric introduced me to like leg locks like I've not known, and he goes, it changed me as a fighter. And so they're learning along the way. Now you could say it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Was it back then? Should we say that leg locks or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is part shoot wrestling? Because he did train, or he did learn it from Eric. So I don't know what the proper etiquette to that is, but all I'm saying is everybody's influenced by everything. I trained a student, really good guy. He owns a surf shop in Redondo Beach. I don't think you'll mind if I say his name. His name's Ed Talbot. If you ever see those whale photos, the Talbot, and it shows a big whale tail out of the water. Well, that's he and his brother who do those photos. And he's really big jiu-jitsu guy, but he would train me in shoot wrestling. And I think some of the guys that he was training with seen what he was doing. They're like, what are you doing? He goes, oh, this is combo, whatever, this combo. And they're like, why are you doing that? And he's like, no, it's good. But then they're like, nah, you need to just do this. But then he started submitting people who are like, how did you get that? He goes, well, that's from that combo that I was trying to show you. Everything, it goes back to, if you believe it doesn't work, you're correct. You got to believe in it, or you got to really give it that honest effort and pressure test it. I mean, there's some stuff that I throw away, but there's some stuff that I don't do that I didn't like, but now I'm drawing from it. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But, I think because, you study it over time, and maybe you come back with a set of fresh eyes and you look at things different, you go, oh, now I can see how that works. And that's kind of the evolution of, I think, all of us as we go through and as we get older, and why we change things around a little bit, because we get more experience. And now something that we didn't think was good, we go, hey, that's awesome. It works, because now I know how to do the setup properly, which before I didn't,
Yeah. Another thing, I'll go back on Joe Rogan again. He's been very vocal, and you could research this, about jeetkunedo and about Wing Chun. He slams it a bit. He doesn't like it. But then he goes on, and he's like praising the heck out of Vasily Lomachenko. And he's like, oh man, you see that he's doing trapping. It's the same thing that we have. He's just pressure tested it, and he's applying it. And I applaud him for that, and it's great. But I go, that's not new. Lomachenko didn't invent it. That's stuff that his father and that's his father's like a big brain behind his training. And I love him. My favorite fighter, by the way. If you don't know Vasily Lomachenko, look him up. And if you're on YouTube, what do they call it? Swiping? Have you ever seen that video? Look up swiping. He's doing lap sao, he's doing pak sao, he's doing lan sao, and those are all Wing Chun terms and JKD terms, and he's applying it, and he's just so unorthodox. People are baffled; they don't know what to do with him when he does it, and you know, it just goes to the belief. If you believe it doesn't work, you are correct. You got to believe in it. And if
Well, I think people who from the outside who don't train in it, maybe in Wing Chun, you know, or in Jeet Kune Do, they see the drills and they go, "Oh, that doesn't work." Because, you know, you're doing reference point drills. And I go, yeah, but that is just to train the reflexes and train the muscle memory. But in a fight, you're not going to be doing that, and you adapt it. So maybe you come in and then you trap the body and you come in and you jiao sao, right? And that works. So, but you're not, I think when people see Wing Chun and they go, oh, that just doesn't work, because they're looking at it and they go, how would that work? They're just training drills to develop, you know, the ability to use techniques, you know, in a fight, but it's not how, you know, how people even, you know, look at Francis Fong. I mean, he's an amazing martial artist. I mean, but the thing is the same thing. I mean, he modifies it too. I've watched him modify it. I watched Soke Kunabab, Rick McElroy. We did a demo way back, and, you know, I looked at him and I was like, man, karate, you know, just like and then I got with him and he showed me. It looked like Kali, right? It looked like the same thing. It looked like destructions. Because he says like this, and all of a sudden he's hitting the bicep, hitting the arm, because he just says, "Oh, that's for beginners." You know, he goes, "This is beginners, but more advanced," and it looked just like what we're doing. So,
right,
you know, because you could
you're 100% correct. I had sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Guru Dan one day, there was a person who's an instructor under Guru Dan. I'm not gonna say names, but he was questioning trapping and saying anybody who teaches is kind of stealing your money. And I asked Guru Dan about it, or I'll say Sifu Dan, because it was Jen Fong class. You know, we all have kind of different surnames in there, or titles, not surnames, but titles. And I said, do you think this is accurate? And he goes, I don't know. And he goes, maybe he didn't come to class the day that I told him it was just a drill. You know, he'll never put anybody down, but he's really respectful about it. He goes, well, maybe, you know, he's researching and it's good. Maybe he didn't come when I explained this part. And he goes, Ron, it's like jumping rope. I could sit there and skip rope, but if I got in front of you and I just skipped, you're going to nail me, but I'm getting a benefit of skipping. I have to know how to use it and utilize it and put it into my concoction that I'm stirring up. And if I don't have the answer, it's not because it sucks. It's because I sucked. The art didn't fail me. I failed the art if I'm not getting that out. And that's kind of what we want with this website. And I look, it's going to change. And my students, and you guys are right there, you'll look at me and you'll go, wait a minute, you were doing this and now you're saying this. It's because I'm growing. Yeah. Oh, I heard from Larry all the time. He always gives me that look. What? No. And I'm like, no, Larry, I know it's here. I'm moving it to here. And a lot of it was because, you know, Guru Dan is so free when he teaches me. He utilizes, you know, we're all his guinea pigs, and he wants to see how it's going to come out. So he'll just start teaching. And instead of teaching A, B, C, D, E, F, G, he's like A, X, L, M, G, you know, he's mixing it up. But the next time it's like B, Z, R, Q. And so what I've done is I created a master list of everything. So like if I were training under him, like, oh, I had that one. Oh, that's a new one. And I'll put it in there. And then I try to figure out which is best to do first, or I'll ask him. He goes, do what you want. You know how he is. He's got that carefree kind of thing. Just as long as you're training, it doesn't matter. Do what you want. And I've moved and manipulated things. And then after I'm training it, like I'll tell you one thing, back into the Jun Fan thing. Dan Chi. I used to teach in Dan Chi before I go to Chi Sao, but I used to teach certain things first. And then I realized after I get into like the mix, I go, oh my God, I'm teaching like just simple Dan Chi into like the 4 gate stuff that I do. I'm teaching that first, and then I teach Dan Chi after. And I go, wait a minute, I got to move that because Dan Chi's in it, and it benefits you to have that before you go in it. So I swapped it, and man, I got eye rolls from people, and people got upset with me. And I go, look, it's martial arts research systems. I'm researching. It's to me a living, breathing thing that's going to age and change with time. And I'm sorry if I get people mad. Keep the order the other way if it works for you. But for me, I'm changing it. And, you know, it's just, I just want you to, and then some people don't even like some of the things I do. I go, at least look at it, learn it. And if you're teaching, and if somebody says, hey, if you're an instructor in a run, does he do this? Well, he likes it this way, but I prefer it that way. I'm fine with that. You know, if somebody, if they want to kind of show it their way, I want them to at least know my way. Give it an honest look.
Well, let me ask you this one. Didn't you tell me once that when Grodin, he put Ung Moon together because he was kind of asking Bruce Lee, he goes, hey, put this, what do you think? And he said, yeah, whatever, go ahead and do that. Well, you know, it just bugged me because at the very end, because I'm kind of doing everything. And I think I thought when I ended, I just thought it was Juan Jern, felt odd to me to end with that. So I switched it to go with Dick Jern, right? And I said, look, if you go look at Ron, he's going to do, because it was just anal for me. I just felt I had to end straight, you know, center for me. And it was just my personal choice because because I think about it, look, he put it together. Maybe Dan would change it now and think, you know what, probably was better if I ended it this way, right?
He does. Yeah. You know, and you're 100% correct, because it's a growing living thing with him. He's not going to marry himself. I know, like, he used to teach, I don't know if you remember, actually more the Kali Salat stuff, but the ground stuff, like arm bars and octopus, stuff like that. He would have sets of, 7, I think. It was, he would break it down, 7 in this, 7 in this, 7 in this, 7 in this. He had way more than that. But then later he was doing something and I went, oh, I thought you wanted this. He goes, like, yeah. He goes, you know, kind of, you know, he goes, I was still kind of just working this out in my mind. But then he taught me something that he calls the Lacoste 40. And I'll swear, you know, the cool thing about, to get on him for a second, is I go, do you want this way? Or what's the one after? And he would go, no, on number like 36, you're going to do this. I go, wow, he remembers the number. He's better than I am. I got to look at the list. Or I don't know if this is you, Cliff. I got to go, all right, 1 is this, 2 is this, 3 is this, 4 is this, you know, and if I'm lucky, I'll go, I know 10 is this. So 11 would be this, but he's just got that. But so I know he isn't forgetting. I know he's swapping it on purpose. And, you know, at times I think he does it to keep us on our toes, you know, or just to show you that there's freedom. You know, it becomes like, he always talked about Monet, you know, the artist. Mm-hmm. He goes, I can copy Monet, but I'll never get $1 million for that painting. I've got to be my own artist. I could take technique he showed and I can adapt it, but I have to be my own artist. He goes, that's why it's called martial art, not martial copy, you know. And you're an artist. You got to create your own art. You know, it's like, remember the TV guides and they had to draw this, and, you know, if I draw that, you know, all right, so maybe Sean might have some skills, but I got to expand and go beyond just drawing a little turtle or whatever. Do you remember all that in TV guides? Yeah. You know, you got to kind of make your own art, or paint by numbers. You know, we all have the Rembrandt ones. So my aunt and uncle bought them every Christmas. We get the little paint set with the, you know, and we had these paintings as kids. We thought, oh, wow, it's great. But I think all that's supposed to do is inspire you and encourage you to kind of take it on your own and just keep going past that. And that's, I think, what we've all created, and you guys are helping me create it, is this website and this online training, and just really opening up people to, you know, and you know, to look beyond what they might have. You know, even if you're an experienced martial artist, I don't know about you guys, but I scour everything I can to try to see a different way of doing something I already know how to do. And I think if you see this, I give plenty of options. Can I wanted to show a little bit of stuff. Is it okay if I show 1 or 2?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. I'm going to go here. This is, I kind of debated if I was going to do this and how it was going to go, but here it goes. So for those out there who want to see something in online training, do you see that? Is that coming up for you guys? I don't know why it's going so slow.
Yes, sir.
Is that loading? It's on my hard drive. Why is it? There it goes.
Okay. Continuing on, Stick and Dagger, LeBon Leroux. He's got that 8th thrust. So now, right now, I'm going to swing it out. He's going to come back, hit me in the head. So 1, I'm going to ride it past. So when he comes with the knife, I'm going to stop it. I stop with the stick, okay? But then I'm going to full step in and stab David.
Ron,
he's going to go humpbuck by was.
To see I just saw a part of his head.
Wait, do a full open of the file. That way it'll pull up in QuickTime.
Is it on?
Okay, continuing on, Stick and Dagger, LeBon LaRoe,
Let's go.
he's got that 8th thrust. So now, right now, I'm gonna swing it out.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, so kill the share screen. And then now open it in QuickTime and then do share and go find the QuickTime file and it'll pull right up.
He's gonna come back, hit me in the head. So one, I'm gonna write it. Okay, continuing on, Stick and Dagger, LeBon LaRoe, he's got that 8th thrust. So now, right now, I'm gonna swing it out. He's gonna come back, hit me in the head. So one, I'm gonna write it pass. So when he comes with the knife, I'm gonna stop it. I stop with the stick, okay? But then I'm gonna full step in and stab David. He's gonna go humpak baiwas, and then he'll say bracha or brasso, however you wanna say the term, and bam, he's gonna hit it. Then we go 5 count, okay? So if I go 1, I go at David, then I'm gonna go at David 2 shots. That's the first, he carried it past. Then he stops me, then he takes a full step in, humpak baiwas, and then 1, 2, okay? So we'll go into the 5 count. I just wanted to lay that down. So 1, I write it pass. I stop it. He stops it. So full 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go at David. 1, I go at him. I go at him. He comes at me. Okay? So I lay down on it. I write it past. I stop it. He stops it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I write down. I go at him. I go at him. He comes at me. Again, the hardest part for me in this is whose turn. And it's really easy to steal the other person's turn. That's okay though too, because you should be on if you see that opportunity, you take it. At the start, I want to be cooperative with my training partner, but there's a point where I'm like, just you snooze, you lose, you know? So when we go 1, I write down on it. He's gonna stop it, and stop it was the first one. Bah, bah. But this one, when I write it and he comes, I carry it over. Then I stop it. He stops it. 1, 2. That's what I want. Last time. So I write. I go at David. I go at David. I stop. 1, 2. I'm going to have you repeat it one more time real clean. 1, ride, stop, stop. That's it. Okay? LeBon.
So that's it.
So Ron, let me just for our viewers maybe that don't train in the Filipino arts, maybe kind of explain what is LeBon LaRoe, and because I know we have double stick, we're doing it in single stick, we're doing it in short and long. Maybe kind of just say, let them know what it is. You know, why
Let me explain this. That's pretty high level right there. I don't want a beginner to think, oh my God, that's way too much for me. You know, we have a ton of drills. Obviously, if I show like the beginning stuff, it's not going to jazz it up and you're probably going to be like, oh, okay. But we have rudimentary drills. This spices it. So explain LeBon LaRoe for them.
me?
Yeah, I would love it. I want to hear it.
For me, it's like, it's really, I know you described this before, it's kind of like play fighting. It's kind of setting up patterns and reactions. Like I just went through, because I hadn't memorized all the double stick ones. And so my question too, I mean, you trained with Edgar Salute, and did he come up with this, or was he taught the series when you put this? That's my question first.
That's his invention.
Okay.
To my knowledge, I'm sure some people had drills that sparked him to do this. This is something that he put together. And it's so funny because I have my numbers that I do, and other people might say, wait, that's not on the video, this number. He had taught different, how can I explain this? He, when I filmed the Stick and Dagger videos with him, and I go, but Putin Guru, I thought this number. He goes, no, just do this. And I did it. And I asked him later, I go, but didn't you want this one to go before this? He goes, I just want to see where they learn from. So somebody comes up to me or up to him and said they had number whatever. He wanted to know that was the number, you know what I mean? He goes, oh, he's a video guy. And he didn't have any problem. He just said, I'm kind of doing it for me. They're going to get all of them anyway. But he just kind of categorized it a different way. And to this day, it trips me up a bit, because I could show you, I have video privates with him where he's showing me a different number, or maybe like in Asano, he evolved. But the explanation he gave me is, I set it this way for the video, and I have it this way for my students. So
the reason I asked you, because I've been trying to teach Deb, you know, she gets the stick, she really struggles with it. I mean, when we were in Maui, we were actually pulled up near the up country, and we're waiting for the sunset, and I pull her out, we're doing double sticks, and there's like all these bugs coming up here, and we're trying to go, Deb, look, it's not that hard. Okay, I'm trying to break this down. I was running through the running sets and she just sort of struggles on it. So I said, all right, we're going to start again when we get back home. So I said, we're going to do the Bon Row double stick, right? And I start breaking it down and we run through it. She goes, well, what about Earth 6? How come we're not doing Earth 6? Or what about Pi Pi or Cop Cop? Because I'm saying we're kind of building up basic, right? And then I'm thinking, yeah, it seems like, why are we doing like number 4? We go to Earth, heaven, and then we do standard, but then there's no Earth. I'm trying to explain that to her, why that's not.
But the beauty is you can do it that way if you want. Like when a lot of the Bon Row, he would go Iques or uno dos cuatro. And he would say, we're going to do Iques. Say we're going to do uno dos cuatro. Throw them both together if you want. Reverse it the other way if you want, and you can just mix and match it. But he would do this, I think, maybe because of just
this is more for structure. Giving people, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I told them. It's a base. Just knowing if I was teaching you, I might start off with, say, Pi Pi, just real easy. And then maybe we go Cop Cop, then we get into Iques. But I said, so she's like, well, why do we have to memorize it? I said, because it's structure for you, right? Because otherwise, every time I look, I can go, remember number 5, right? We're on 5 now, Deb. Okay. So then she can go, oh, okay. Because otherwise it's hard because she won't remember, And a
lot of it is a progression up, because they do get more difficult as it goes.
Exactly.
So I don't want to teach that. That was like number 16, I think, or whatever. And everybody goes, oh, there's only 12. Ooh, no, there's 1 A, B, C, D, 2 A, B, 3, I'm just rattling numbers, but it mixed. And I'm like, but shouldn't that be 14 or shouldn't that be 18? We're over 32 variations. He goes, no, just 12. And Filipinos like that. 12s. And most Filipinos, if everybody who's Pinoy watching, it, everything is 12, and 12 is a big number,
like a magical number for them, isn't it?
Yeah. So, even with Guru Dan, right?
Yeah.
A lot
12 category weapons in Kali. Everything was 12, talked about 12, kind of a spiritual thing for them.
It's like Wing Chun 108. Oh, all our forms and 108 movements. I go, there's more than that in there. And Thai boxing, I always love a Junchai, the 15 count, 16, 17, 18 count. I go, the 18 count has 23 movements, because you grab at the end, 6 skip knees, swing them and kick 2 times. I go, that's 1, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just you learn it. And if you're part of a class, if you're doing a math class, you have to learn all their prerequisites. So this is a prerequisite to it. And is it overkill? If you think it is, maybe it is. But I want you to think of like when we do knife. Everybody's like, I don't know how you're going to differentiate, put your hand here or why. And hopefully the computer will pick it up. But to pick up a knife on a straight line or on what would be my 2 o'clock, to all the way, like 1, 2, and 3, or around to this side, you'll see that it's more conducive. Maybe my hand's inside. If it's on an angle, if it's straighter, maybe it's better outside. Maybe I got to dig in this way. You don't know. And if you think about it, Guru Dan, I'm stealing his quote. He equates it to baseball. He's used that analogy, right? It's like, you throw him grounders and a guy's got to pick him up. Sometimes he'll hit palm up, other times palm down, other times both hands, or the right grabs it, or we'll go over that way and grab it. You don't know which way you're going to pick it up. And it's like me throwing my keys to you. And if I throw it right at your face, you'll go, whoa, or you'll go, whoa, or you'll maybe duck. You don't know the reaction. And all we're trying to do is break it down. We're in the sense, giving it an autopsy and really seeing how it is, because it's not alive. That's why I call it an autopsy. It's like, what happens if it comes this angle? And people are like, yeah, but like they'll feed you different and they'll go, it doesn't work. And I go, no, you don't understand. If you fed me different, I wouldn't be here. It's not that I don't have an answer, but I'm trying to force this out right now when we're doing it more static. Once it's alive, and that's another thing, Cliff. There's times that I'll do things and I'm doing it like a champ, and I go, wow, this is going great. And then other times I'll do it and I'm getting killed every time. And I go, Jesus, it's the worst. So what does it mean? It just means that I wasn't on. They're doing things a bit different. Maybe I'm going with somebody else who's giving me a foreign energy. So you got to submit yourself to all that and just, get out of that little pond. And
I mean, don't you find sometimes the most hardest to deal with is the most inexperienced students?
oh yeah,
Because they're not giving you perfect, perfect jabs or crosses. So it's just awkward things, right?
yeah.
And but you got to deal with it. You have to learn how to deal with that because that's realism, right?
Yeah, and it's not that you shouldn't learn how to deal with it when it's crisp and precise, but you do need to know, that unorthodox guy who does trip you up. I when I fought in Tokyo, I fought this guy Shonen Hayama, and the way he punched and kicked was so unorthodox. I watched the video and I watched, like his previous fights, and he was just this weird. I mean, he was good, talented, he was winning, but he would throw these weird things, and it helped him that he was like well over 6 foot. And I'm going, damn it, I gotta fight this guy. He's really tall, real thin. I believe in the same weight class. Obviously, we fought each other, but he was just hitting people all the time. And I go, there's no way to look good fighting this guy. I just got to go in and just work it. And the Bahala nothing, come what may, and just go and get it. And I did. And I got hit. You're always going to get hit. It's a fight. But I think that it gave me enough insight to where if I hadn't seen this guy, I think it could have threw me. It was a big learning experience for me because I went, every good fighter you fight is not going to be like precise. They're going to lay in those oddball angles that trip you up. And you're right. I don't know how many training partners I've had that are just unorthodox or just weird. And all of a sudden, bam, I got hit. I'm like, whoa, because I was trying to follow the rule and I didn't know to break it at that time. So I don't know. Larry, you're quiet. What's up?
No, I was thinking that going back to kind of like the learning by the numbers and even going live and competing or fighting or just sparring, that when I was in, I went to commercial art school basically so I could become a graphic designer and illustrator. And, some of my least favorite classes were like art history, right? Where, I had to learn like all the freaking dates of like every chapel when it was made and what era it was in. Also, I was just like, I just want to draw and doodle and do my thing, right? And then slowly but surely those things came out, or like, we had to do figure drawing, or we had to do still life drawing. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that, or, you know what I mean? But all of these little things that I was kind of force fed, like you said, painting by the numbers, all those things that I was doing or emulating gave me insight into how I'm the artist I am today. And nobody has the style of the way I do pen and ink artwork. I mean, you guys have seen some of it, you know what I mean? So it's like, nobody has this version of what I do. Nobody can do it. They can duplicate it, but it's not their way of expressing themselves, And I think that in order for me to get there, I had to go through all that. I went back and even cited older friends that were in the comic book industry before me that got me into the comic book industry and who their mentors were, you know what I mean? So we were digging deeper than that. We weren't just kind of the Nietzsche or the saying basically of not following in the footsteps, but seeking what they sought, you know what I mean? Kind of in that concept, I think. But the other thing I wanted to add that I've kind of had as a phrase that I think goes back to your Wyla concept of whose fault it is if you're not getting something down, right? And I've given this one to my students, is that I think that you must forget everything you know and then remember everything that you've forgotten. So there has to be like a marinating or like digestive process that comes to that. And when that happens, there'll be the maturity. And when that happens, there'll be the growth, right? And then you'll see the validity in all the arts, because I truly believe that everything works in its given time and place, kind of like the old thing that we had that was round, and you could put the square thing in a square hole and the round thing in the round hole, right? And obviously that's going to work. I mean, if you were a mile away from me and I'm trying to throw an elbow, it's not going to work, but elbows work. But that's not going to work, right? And so I think that we got to go through the reps. We've got to paint by the numbers. We've got to do all that. Then we've got to digest it. Then we got to forget about it. Then we got to bring it back again, right?
Mm-hmm. Guru Dan used to always say that. Remember, forget to remember, because if you try to remember, you will forget. Remember that?
Yeah. Yep. And he would say, after you learn the drill, forget the drill. He would always tell me, and I was like, what? And I always get that Bruce Lee thing. Everybody's like, Bruce Lee was anti-form, and I go, bull. Inosanto would tell me that he is the best forms man he ever met. And he said that he needed the form at one point. He had so much of it in him. I mean, there's that famous footage of him during that audition. Remember, black and white footage of him, and he's in the suit and he gets up, he starts doing his forms, and they're badass. And he goes, he was the best forms man I knew. So you could say, I got that out of some of my Aikido students, because they they wanted to kind of live that abundant, what is it, abundant peace, like Maria Shiba book, and it's like, you're not Shiba. Shiba was a little fighter, and he was, he went for it, and he got to a point in his life where he said, I don't want that anymore. So now he got to the abundant peace level. You don't have that. And I'm not saying go out and street fight, but you don't have that pressure test the way he did. And he knows, and he can relate and always flash back to that. We need that. Bruce Lee said, you need the stone, and you need the chisel away. You can't just go, oh, I don't need that stone, because that's a form. Forms do help you. Like, we go back to the moon. Some people hate it. Some people love it. Most of my newbies really like it. And especially like we could do it static, right? And then I have it to where it's a 2-man form and it gets a little more alive. Then I'll put it in like Luxao and all that other stuff. And I'll say, apply one of them to it, and they'll start to apply it. And you'll see it has value. And it's like a Dr. Seuss book or a Dick and Jane book has value. But if I went and I gave it to Larry and I'm saying, Larry, man, I got this badass book. You got to read it. Dick and Jane, man, check it out. And you see Larry, see Jane run, see Spot. He's going to know, because he's
really
past that.
Larry might get excited about that.
Yeah, Larry would look at him. Yeah, but there was a time it could have been an intriguing read. Now he might be past it a little bit, and we need that. And it's just
this. Because a little bit. You've done some photography and working on and doing some directing too. In photography, and this is the problem with people who jump in it and they kind of want to be an artist and they start doing all these breaking the rules. You can't be a rule breaker until you know the rules, right? And you follow them, right? Once you get it, like the rule of thirds, right? So when my friend Joel Crimes first came out, he did the 3-edge lighting and it was in your face portraits, and everyone's like, oh, he's not doing the rule of thirds. Oh, he's not doing it. And his was like right dead center. Well, he's been a photographer for a long time. He created a new look. He broke the rule, but he knew the rules. Now you get some, young photographers coming up and they just go off to all the stuff. And it's like, yeah, but you don't really know that you're not doing that on purpose, because you knew the rules.
Right.
You're just out there throwing all this lame stuff out,
It's like, Prince Nassim or Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, dropping the hands and stuff. It worked for them. Not always, but it did. There was a time it was really, nobody knew how to deal with it, and you just got to know how to break the rule. And you learn the rule and then you break the rule and you got to figure it out. And you've done that. I've looked at your photography. And for those out there, if you get a chance, just check out Cliff Lenderman Photography. You can give your Facebook, but he's got interesting stuff. It's really, really, I think I credit your martial art to it. I always do. I go, he's that precise because he's like so meticulous. His whole life is. And I'm sure the military gave you that. That's probably your seeds of that, or maybe your parents. I don't know. Yeah, you probably have the tiger mom, right?
It's the heritage, the lineage it goes to my son. Right?
Yeah, because I look at like Diana and she's that tiger mom with my kids. I'm like, ooh, she's on them today. She's like, you're gonna do this right, and you're gonna, and they're like, okay, But no, but you have that, and to me, garbage in, garbage out. If you're doing things half-assed, it's going to look half-assed. Know what you're doing, and then you can break the rule. There are plenty of times I teach, and I said, you want this, you want this, you want this. And they go, well, you just didn't do that. I go, well, you got to know when to break the rule. I had a reason for breaking it. And there is a time. I'm not doing it just, obviously if my hand's in the wrong spot and it lands there and I got to deal with what I'm at. But we train for those events, hopefully, and if I don't, man, I run and research the heck out of it. And if I can't figure it out, I run to my teachers, whoever it be, and say, what do you do when this happens? And sometimes they're like, figure it out, or let's see. And then we work it there. And that's everything we're trying to do with the site. It's just, we want to kind of like make all the spokes of the wheel somewhat the same. I don't want that clunky ride. You know what I mean? So if I'm deficient in grappling, I'm going to try to raise that spoke up. If I'm deficient in punching or stick work or knife, or right side versus left side, those are big things with me. And you got to be somewhat proficient. You're never going to have that full round spoke wheel that runs, but you want to kind of mellow it to where the ride's not that bumpy. I don't know if that analogy works for you or not, but that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah. And for people who really haven't gotten to martial arts before, it teaches you so much. I mean, training teaches you discipline. It teaches you focus. It teaches you respect. It teaches you I mean, about goal setting. And that's what I find. For me, you know, this whole thing I'm doing at my age for my 68th birthday on bodybuilding and getting ripped again, it's because martial arts has given me the ability to do that, right? If I don't think if I was a martial artist at my age, I could do it, but I have the tools now, and it's something I go, like I told Deb, you know, I get up in the morning now, I got purpose, I'm focused, I'm eating everything I'm doing because I got a goal. There's so many people in their life, they've never really, you know, did anything because they don't understand about goal setting. These are the things we're going to teach here for people who are coming aboard. And getting rank. If you're one that wants to go through and get a rank and work your way up to instructorship, we have the ability, right? I just want to do a little thing to shout out to some of our instructors are out there right now. I got my dogs up here trying to come up here, but you know, we're talking about spreading this art and getting our organization grown. So there will be, you know, state directors and regional directors, and we'll have special camps just for those people who are at that higher level. So, you know, this is continually growing and evolving, and you know, we're doing things in phases. First phase is we're getting everything up to where we want and satisfied with all the material, but we're continually working on where we're going to be in next year, we're going to be in 5 years, and we're going to be in 10 years. So get on board. Larry, once again, he'll post that coupon code for you. But the first step, if you're not a member, is to get on the site and start learning, you know, and that's, I think, the first step, right?
Yeah. Hey, can I show you that one photo? I just remembered I owed you guys something.
Oh, from Matt Teasdale.
Yeah, there it is. So see the arm bar, the foot on it? He submitted that guy with that technique. I have the video too. But they were going, oh, this is brand new jiu-jitsu. And Matt ran up there, he goes, it's Filipino Kali. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you know, but
Egyptian series.
What was it?
Egyptian series. Remember putting the foot on the wrist? The one you told me when you taught it, you go, I don't really like this one. You know, you remember you said that? I remember you said you don't really like this one.
I know.
And there it is. It worked.
I know. And he pulled it off and shut my mouth. I'm not real wild about this one, but he got it and he pulled it off. Yeah. So it just goes to show you, you know, if you believe it works, it works. And, you know, my hat goes off to him. It's awesome. Can he get it again? Who knows? Maybe, you know, I mean, when I was doing shoe wrestling, I was really good at the guillotine. And, you know, like if I had a guy in my guard, and I could always get that hook in, where nowadays people have tons of answers. Who knows if I can get it anymore or not, but that was my thing. And I remember some guy going, he goes, I can't believe you got me with that shit. And I'm like, it's not shit if I gotcha. But I would get everybody, and people got to the point, don't you know any other locks? I'm like, but you keep falling into it. Am I supposed to go, you know, I don't want to get it today, I'm going to let that go. And, you know, because we're going for it, you know, and if you know, if I present you some money and I put that out, aren't you going to grab it while it's out? You know, they were giving me all the gold, and I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, the same thing with leg locks back in the day. Nobody had it. You know, again, back to that reference from Hicks and Gracie, and I encourage everybody to go look that up. But when we were doing it, a lot of the people from almost every art that I was rolling with people with, be it, you know, like jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, you know, whatever the art had, ground game, they're like, yeah, you know, the leg locks, I heard chicken shit, I heard crap, I heard not fair, you know, all these different things. Now it's a standard. It's in Brazilian jiu-jitsu now. And I credit Paulson with that by showing Hickson. And I think Hickson changed a lot of people. I'm not gonna say it's a whole, maybe there were other jiu-jitsu people doing it, you know, preceded that. Sure wasn't known. And to me, I look at Hickson as kind of the man, you know, of our era, you know, with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I have the utmost respect for the guy. And I think it's really big of him to give that credit away, because a lot of people won't do that, you know, and it's to me mature, really cool. So I love it. So, hey guys, anything before we close this up? We got through the hour.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a whole slew of events coming up, right? We've got 2 live classes that are going to be happening, so which is awesome. So next week on Wednesday, the 8th, we're going to be having our JKD class. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we like to wrap up the month, usually the 4th Saturday of the month, where we do our Kali class. So that's going to be on September 25th. It's a Saturday. We're going to host it at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you can stay tuned for those events up on Facebook as well. I'll post those in here. And then, of course, you're going to be out there in the Carolinas, right?
North and South. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And well, I did one event last week. My wife was inducted to the 501st. If you guys are Star Wars freaks, you'll know what that is right away. So we were up north and I did a 1-day thing at Mark Preter School in Hollister. Have you guys ever been to Hollister? You know the store Hollister? It's named after that.
Oh,
Really?
really? I was wondering that when I saw the name.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the town. I'm like, why did they pick this? Because it's kind of it's a quaint, nice little town, but it's nothing more. I was expecting this fashion capital, everything. It's a nice place, but I guess it's a cool name. Maybe the people who started it were from there, but I'm like, so this is Hollister. But anyway, he's got an awesome school out there. And he hosted the event and they inducted Diana into it. And she's through the Golden Gate Garrison, which is where, because Industrial Light and Magic and George Lucas is from there, that's where he's inducted through. So it's just a cool thing that we did for charities. If you don't know anything about it, I encourage you to go look up the 501st Legion. And what is it? Vader's Fist, Darth Vader. It's awesome. So I did that, but this is really my first traveling seminar since COVID started. I've not been on a plane since everything nuked and went off, since the bomb went off. So I'm excited. Hopefully no cold, otherwise I'm not going. But yeah, we're going to have North Carolina on Saturday, South Carolina on Sunday. And then that's on the 16th, I think, of October. So I encourage you to contact Ed Stahl or JD Olson. They're on Facebook, or you can find them anywhere. Just type their name in their martial art. It's Metrolina in North Carolina and Keisha Dojo in South Carolina. So, all right, guys, anything else?
Yes.
Our website. Let's talk about that real quick. Our online training is at you can go to ronbalicki.com, or if you want to post a website. They're not going to remember it if I say it, but Mars Online Training, and we'll get all that. Maybe we could put it in the bio or whatever the description above on this once it's up.
Already there.
I'm sorry, say it again.
It's already there.
Oh, it's already there. Awesome. Larry's ahead of the game. So, gentlemen, good talk this week. It's always good to see you. I miss you guys. And see you next Wednesday. Okay.
Oh, wait, we have two other things. We have two other things you can't forget.
What are the two other things?
The first one, I got to show you this. You haven't seen this yet.
He's going to show me something embarrassing. Here it goes. I can tell.
It's good, man. It's good. Ready? Y'all see Miss Maria?
Ah, she's wonderful.
Oh, she's awesome.
Isn't she beautiful?
How's your morning going? Good. Awesome. Well, you just wrapped up a killer Mars Caribbean camp. You had 3 days of training. You stayed extra days to do some more adventures with us, which was cool. So what are some highlights for you?
Training with Ron and Nikolai, always great. They're amazing at what they do, and for them to just share their knowledge with us is just it's always an honor.
Yeah, it was awesome. The instructors were really cool. It was great to see Ron and Nikolai and Luke this time. They actually did a really good job at making sure that we demoed whatever they were showing, so that everyone would understand really what was going on before we went around. And then basically it was just it was a lot of really cool martial arts training, all boiled into 3 days.
Awesome. So cool.
I'm beyond stoked. So that's marscaribbeancamp.com. That's going to be November 5th, 6th, and 7th. We got Ron Balicki. We got nicolassaignac back, which is awesome. Who he's stoked. I think Nick is going to get certified to scuba dive while he's there.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
That's awesome. So,
yeah, and let everybody know it's way more than martial arts. We'll train, but then we're off on a ton of adventures, and it's actually really affordable. And it's a blast. And the island was way safer than in the States, as far as this pandemic goes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a blast. All right, you said 2 things.
Yep, and the last one, because this weekend you and I both get to celebrate our birthdays. So happy birthday!
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, I got to the point where I'm like, Cliff, Are you at the point where I'm this? And my wife will go, no, you're that. Like age-wise, I go, no. And she's like, Ron, do the math. And I'm like, damn it. So what is it? 50?
I know mine, but Deb seems to always forget how old she is, and I remind her.
Oh, I screwed up all the time. Yeah.
I give mine a hard time all the time. I'm like, hey, you're 6 months older than me. Okay. So remember that. So every time mine comes up, she goes, you caught up.
Yeah. So what is this? The 37th anniversary of my 21st birthday. So that's it. So yeah. So 58 tomorrow. That's all good. It's all right. You know what? I do believe we age different than our folks.
Yeah.
I just think we're more active, and I think that, you know, more science, you know, we know what to do, what not to do, and when we are abusing our body and how far to go with that. So, you know, I'm trying outside of this dopey cold that I got. And I was paranoid. I ran and I got a COVID test yesterday, and it was so funny because you're supposed to get the results in an hour and I wasn't getting it. I waited all night. I went there this morning. I'm like, hey, and she went, wait, and she looked at it and she's like, oh, he didn't send it. They had the result. They didn't put it in. So it was negative. And I was like, whew. You know, it's funny because Diana went with me over there. She was going to take the test in case, you know, just in case. And she was like, all right, good. So yeah. COVID, gotta love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Or hate it.
Better
Yeah.
safe than sorry.
I just was reading where they said now they didn't know the next variant, whether even the some of the vaccines would work against it. So you know what?
Yeah.
Online training, guys, we're going to hit a lot of online training.
Yeah, and you know, I love that. I mean, we have to keep the economy open, but almost everybody I know, you know, like unfortunately I know some schools that did perish, but a lot of people just did the JKD thing. They modified and they adapted new ways, and they're online and they've got a whole thing going. You know, to date, some of the schools that I'm involved with are doing half. Some people still aren't comfortable coming back, so they train online, Zoom, and in the class with them.
Yeah. Always good to have options. That's for sure.
Sorry, I'm coughing. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off and go blow my nose. So I know it sounds fun, huh? So
All right, guys. Nice to
Okay.
see you chatting. Thank
All
you
right.
for our viewers. Appreciate you guys.
all right. Be safe, guys. Good to see you. Bye-bye.